So here's some of the aftermath of that very rainy night that we had here. You can see the front of the tent here, the tarp got very dirty. I was very glad to have that extended out just so I had some place to kind of, put my shoes, take off my shoes before getting into the tent so I didn't drag that along with me. You can see we camped basically right over the fire pit here, and you might be able to tell that there was a little bit of a decline. Not exactly the most comfortable night sleeping on that decline there. I was very surprised at how many campsites don't have level ground for you to set up your tent. There's some kind of a little look in there, couldn't get much closer than that. Some of that aftermath paper towels definitely came in handy, but probably one of the best things that you can get is right here on this trip. Grape Crush, absolutely incredible. So in this tent takedown, this was by far and away the dirtiest, muddiest, probably the longest tent takedown that I had. One of the things that you might be able to see in the background during some of this is people getting ready for the local Renaissance fair that was going on where we were camping here. So there's some definitely interesting outfits that went on. One of those things where I was very happy to move on from this campground. It was super, super crowded, probably because of the Renaissance fair. I didn't record any vocal work while I was here, mainly just because there was people basically right on top of me. The blue car to the right there is not me. Obviously the little blue Beetle is, but everybody was kind of on top of one another, and I was happy to get out of here and get on my way that day. And but yeah, it was definitely wet, muddy. I did the best to get some water. There was luckily a water spigot right over across the little path there that was able to kind of wash some things down and wipe them down and make them ready to go, or as ready to go as they could. You'll probably see when we land in South Dakota later, everything was still wet. Everything was still kind of muddy. It was not necessarily my favorite resultant of the night, but we were happy to have that rain fly. It definitely came in handy. It definitely kept the water out of the tent, and we got it packed up and put away and ready to move along the way and head to the Mall of America. But walking to Mall of America in muddy jeans and muddy shoes was not exactly what I wanted to do, but it was what we ended up doing. The tent went down, of course, rather easily. Just, again, that put away was, whew, it's still memorable. I can kind of feel this cold and wet still inside my bones from this takedown. So when leaving the campground here, dropped off some trash and head on our way. Unfortunately, it was kind of in the wrong direction. It didn't help us make any forward progress. We kind of backtracked to get to the Mall of America. However, I think seeing the Mall of America was absolutely worth it. One of the interesting things as I was heading out there, the mall wasn't quite open when I left the campground, so I went to Panera Bread for a little bit. But when I turned into the industrial park there where the Panera Bread was, there were 3 turkeys that would not move. The car did not bother them at all. But here we are heading out to the Mall of America, about to see some really cool stuff in there, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you right now. All right, here we are, Mall of America. Should be cool. Let's check it out. This is totally the reason that I wanted to come, was to see the Nickelodeon universe. Really cool, like Fairly Odd Parents, Dora, Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This place is freaking awesome. Look who I found. Rocksteady. Although I think he's a little bit shorter than I imagined, but he's still pretty darn big. So I played this game before. It used to be called Whistle Stop. I haven't played it in a long time. This is Movie Stop, because it used to have DVDs in there. I don't think they have the same appeal anymore, but there's a Twilight DVD. It's probably still in there this whole time. I think we're going to try for either this Fresh Choices, or I think there was a Foot Locker too. Yeah, $25 Foot Locker. I think we'll go for that one. Oh, way early. Let's try it again. Oh no, not early. That's right. Oh, that's the other part of this. I forgot. There's a spot to hit it. I think that's still going to be early. Oh, just early. Oh, shut. No, way early. All right, let's do this one more time. Super early that time too, darn it. Alright, I think I have one more spin here worth of credits. So this balloon seems pretty big. My skill stop skills didn't work out so well the last time, but we're gonna try this, I think, with our last credit. Oh, terrible, nothing. Is that the boat from Tailspin? Kind of looks like it. Interesting. Ton of claw machines. There's another little arcade over here. Different than the last one we were just in, where I lost $10 within 2.5 minutes. Nothing super needy to go in there for. Got some Paw Patrol, more turtles. See Dora up ahead. Swiper, Sweeper. He's not supposed to be swiping. And here's the Nickelodeon shop. Can't wait to go in here and see what they have. Okay, these are super cool. A whole section of old school style figures. Real neat. Not a whole lot of retro. More. I mean, there is some SpongeBob and Arnold and whatnot, but really more Paw Patrol and current Nickelodeon than anything. Oh, there's some Avatar. Ooh, if they had those slides in bigger sizes, I'd probably be getting one. No dice. It only looks like they go up to 11. Maybe a sneak of a 12 in there. It's only bigger than that. Right behind me, we have the rock bottom plunge. People were definitely screaming on there 2 seconds ago. And they have a very, very large pineapple here that a certain sponge would live in. Pineapple poppers. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Absorbent in yellow and porous is he. Anyway, yeah, pretty cool. Definitely more priced like an amusement park than a mall. Bought a little pin for my wife. Not gonna show what it is. And it costs about 3 times what it should probably cost, even here. Yeah, I was able to buy like stuff for 5 people at the Harley Davidson Museum for the price of this pin, but I had to have something. Can't come to, you know, Nickelodeon here and not get something to bring home for my wife, who's a big fan of Nickelodeon. Ooh, it's like a slime-themed restaurant. Closed, but it's there. Then we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over here, Shell Shop. But after that, we're out to the regular mall. Gonna just look around for a second or two, and then we are off today to North Dakota, and then right to South Dakota. I'll explain when I get there. So that was it for the Mall of America. It was really cool to see. Basically, it's a 4-level mall, but it's not a whole lot different than most other malls that you're at, other than the fact that it's absolutely huge and has an amusement park on the inside. I guess that does make it a good bit different. But in reality, just some very, very large stores. I stopped in a couple. I figured maybe if I could find a nice new pair of sneakers, especially with the ones that I was wearing being muddy and wet from the morning, but to no avail. 14, 4E wide shoes are not exactly the easiest thing in the world to find, even in the Mall of America. I stopped at Nike, I stopped at DSW, I stopped at just about every shoe store that I could find within the couple of levels and area of the mall that I was at. I just figured it was better to keep moving on, unfortunately, without any new pair of kicks. But hey, what are you going to do? Can't win them all, even in the Mall of America. So here we are heading on up into North Dakota, a pretty easy trip. We are just heading towards the southeast corner of North Dakota, and then what we're going to do is transition pretty quickly into heading back down into South Dakota, checking off 2 states on the day. Really, really excited about that. And I'll see you guys next at the sign in North Dakota. All right, so we are in North Dakota, and if you came here for a ton of North Dakota stuff that we are going to do, this is it. We are just checking this one off and moving on. We're going right into South Dakota, so we'll check off 2 states today, and we'll stay in South Dakota. Not a whole lot of lodging up here, not a whole lot of places that I really felt like I needed to see in North Dakota as far as attractions, so this is it. We saw the sign. We're going to see South Dakota next. By the way, for that matter, if there is something I really should see in North Dakota, let me know in the comments. Who knows? Might make another trip at some point. Could just come out just to North Dakota. I mean, anything's possible. So let me know in the comments of this video. So now we are on our way down into South Dakota. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly when we crossed over into South Dakota. I could not find the sign. I know that it wasn't very far after this stop that we were going to cross back over, probably about 10, 15, maybe 20 miles from where that sign was in North Dakota to get into South Dakota, but I didn't locate it anywhere along the way, which I feel was rather unfortunate. So we are heading to Mitchell, South Dakota, where we are going to be staying at a KOA campgrounds, which I'm pretty sure I explain in the clip here right after we're done with this driving. Along this way, I did stop at a gas station. I did want to check on my air filter just to see how that was doing. It wasn't super dirty. I was kind of hoping that it was, because maybe I could have picked one up and got a few more miles per gallon. But the car is absolutely screaming to keep up with the speed limit here. It is 80 miles an hour on the speed limit. That little 2.0 Beetle with the 5-speed does not like sustained 80-mile-an-hour trips. I can tell you that. It did not get as great a gas mileage, certainly, as it could have, but we dealt with it, kind of kept up with it, and honestly, I wanted to make the time of the mileage there, and especially try to enjoy some of those higher speed limits and making progress quickly. When we checked in at the KOA campgrounds, the lady there was very, very nice. They had some candles on display. It was warm pretzel. Let me tell you, if you find a warm pretzel candle, I strongly suggest you pick one up. It smelled absolutely incredible in there. She said it was their featured flavor of the week. I was about ready to pull the trigger and buy one for myself, but I'm not going to spend $20 on a candle on this trip and then hope that it makes it home. All right, so we have landed in South Dakota. We're in Mitchell, South Dakota, as a matter of fact, at a KOA Journey campground here. And we are 1,688 miles into the trip. We're about to set up the tent. I think I might actually try to run and grab some food, cook a little bit tonight as well too. Really cool fact, I had the entire tent area to myself. Got to pick where I wanted to be. This area seems nice and flat. That's the one that I went with. So we're going to set up right in here and get ready for the night. The other good thing is I think all my stuff's going to dry out now. This bag's still wet. Oh yeah. Ooh. Still plenty dirty too. Of course, the entrance is on the other side. Just going to move this back a little bit, figure I'd bring it a little bit closer. One cool feature I discovered last night, I'll show you here real quick. Let me bring you in. So one of the things that, like I said, discovered last night, pretty cool, is this vent at the top here. So there's two different modes for it. If you want it open, you need some air. You prop it up like this. And then you have a little mesh there so nothing's going to get in at you, any bugs or anything like that. And otherwise, you can just go down and then the Velcro goes onto there to keep it closed. So I think that's a truly cool feature. I was really, really happy to see that. I am going to skip the underneath tarp tonight. I think it's plenty dry out here and I don't think I got to worry about the moisture. Let this thing truly dry out. And it's not going to rain, so I'm going to skip the rainfly as well. We'll see if it's wise. So I figured I would save you guys a little bit of the pain of watching this in full speed. It would have been another 5 minutes or so of me setting up this tent. Instead, you'll get it at 4x speed at about a minute and a half. Just getting the rest of these tent stakes up, getting it kind of set up the way that I wanted to here. Again, it was great having this entire area to myself. There was actually water much closer than I thought. I didn't realize there was a water spigot just a little bit of the ways down for me. I found that pretty much right as I was leaving the next day. But they had a full little kitchen area, a place to wash dishes, things like that. So I was able to take care of that after I, made dinner that night and everything there as well. Super excited about that, and not having to worry about bears. Bears were something that I worried about pretty much through this entire trip. I did not want to leave some scent to make a bear very curious to show up and visit my campgrounds, although I don't think they were going to here. It was really wide open, rather busy in that there were a bunch of other people, and RVs around, even though I was the only person in a tent. There were plenty of people at this campground in RVs and pop-ups and things of the sort. So that one was rest assured there that I felt pretty good about this one. Some of the other nights that you're going to see a little bit later in this trip, maybe not as much confidence that we weren't going to see bears. All right, just in case anyone was wondering or worrying, I did put out the rain fly and the tarp, get themselves dried out, that way they're not waterlogged, although this tarp is quite dirty. Maybe get some water and wash it down as well too, as long as it'll all dry out tonight. They are secured, they're not going anywhere, and gonna run into town, grab some food. Actually, you know what, one other thing, might as well enjoy the top down. Tent's not in the car, got some room. Hopefully nothing flies away while I'm driving. The bugs here are formidable. They are probably going to be the biggest annoyance while I'm here, but whatever, let's enjoy the top down. I'll have to put it up when I'm at the store and probably just ride with it up on the way back, but gotta enjoy it while you can. It was some beautiful country out here, being able to see the beautiful sky and sunset while I was taking a drive on over to the supermarket and then on my way back as well. It was really great. One of the things I was looking for was a friend of mine, Brent Batterman, suggested that I find cheese balls in South Dakota. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful in finding cheese balls at Coburn's Superstore here. All right, time to cook up some dinner. So this takes butane and stick it under there. There's a little lever. Put it under there, put it into the little hole where it looks like the stem of this can would go. And once that's in there, we close that. And lock it. Lock it. There we go. Now the gas should be good to go. And turn it on and try to light. Must not be right. Now. Huh, so weird. We'll figure it out. Definitely locking in. And we have fluid. It's definitely not in. All right. I think this is going to be it. Maybe not. just see if it does anything. This worked fine last night. Hey, I hear it now. Hey, there we go. I don't know what was going on, but we have flame. Yeah, we're good. Alright, got a couple of things at the store. We got a bacon cheddar bratwurst patty. Never had one of these before, bratwurst and a patty. I was interested, had to try it. Apparently has all the wax paper with it too. And it's attached. It does not want to give it up. I hope I become this attached and I don't want to give it up too. Although I'm not coming out to South Dakota again to get one. And I got, recurring theme, a bacon cheddar beef patty. We both cook for about the same amount of time, so I'm just going to cook them together. I'm going to do about 5-6 minutes each side. So it is 7:56, 8:01, we'll give them a flip. Ooh, it's smoky. 8:01, we're gonna flip these. That's how we're doing. Hopefully that helps you guys see them. Gonna do the brat patty. Well, looks like I might be able to do them both at the same time. Ooh, nice dark crust on them. I don't mind that at all. Take some good flavor. That one's, man, if I let that go another minute, it'd be burned, but it's just nice and very well done on the outside. There's no way that burger is cooking through fully that amount of time. Luckily, the brat patty is much thinner. I think that will cook through, again, another 5-6 minutes. So 8:07 or so, we'll check back in on them. All right, here we are. Got them all stacked up on one another there. The burgers, just so it can cook into that middle a little bit more. But I think we're pretty much done. And I'm just gonna let this cool. I'm going to eat it right out of that pan. Don't worry, no metal's going to touch the bottom. And that's dinner. Cool, I think that's going to wrap it up for the day. Lost a piece of my lantern. The lens came out. I got to try to see if I can find that tomorrow. But anyway, a lot of fun. The other end of South Dakota tomorrow, going to hopefully see some really cool stuff like Mount Rushmore, Deadwood, possibly a couple other things, and then head on into some more states that I haven't seen yet. So glad to have you along, and as always, your mileage may vary.